having kids. Hello everyone. I know this is a unusual vlog wherein I'm sitting right here and then we're having a talk about social media. But this is for academic purpose naman. But you know, it's fun to have a different content other than having, you know, live vlog content stuff. So it really has improved my life and made my life easier, especially as someone who is from the province and moved to Manila for a better education. I am from Bohol and my family is all in there in the province, and it's really hard to connect with them if the internet isn't in the way. So for me, as someone who is really far away from my family, I am really grateful that the internet, or I am really grateful that social media has improved my life in a way that connection or communication with my family is a lot easier than how it was before the internet was discovered. So ever since I have been immersed in social media, the way I see our world now seems to be the same, I guess. Because I started being in social media as a child, like around grade 4, and ever since then it was hard to remember memories way back from those years and differentiate on how I perceive the world then and now. But I guess right now it is much easier living in this year as compared to those years before being immersed in social media. And also, I guess comparing to my years before social media, today it is my attitude towards the real world. It's like it has kind of improved in terms of quality, because whenever I see different people, parang kilala ko na sila or namumukhaan because I've seen them somewhere in social media. So there's, you know, social media kind of helped me in a way, like being familiar with who this person is. Also, ever since those years, it can clearly be observable that our world has really improved in such great ways, such as connecting easily with other people. Kaya there's a positive attitude towards how I see the world just because I was immersed in social media. And I'm grateful that we are living in a world right now where it is much less hassle to connect with one another. So whenever I scroll through my feed and see my friends post and then I would react to them, what do I feel about it? Neutral. I guess it depends on the person and who is posting, since it would really matter on the relationship I have with that person. But whenever I scroll my feed, it has really become such a normal act, or really such a it's already a normal habit for me to scroll over my feed and see a lot of posts. But reacting to my friends really gives a special feeling, I guess, because you know, it depends on what they're posting as well. So let's say a friend of mine is posting a meme and I'm reacting to a post. There's a certain ways going around that. Whenever someone posts a meme, it really feels different if the one who shared that meme is someone you know or a friend of you, because there is really times wherein someone it gets shared by multiple people, but I disregard those other memes that are shared by people I don't know. So I mostly just focus on my friends. And from there on, I think there's a huge difference on how I feel towards those strangers that I'm just friends with in social media, as to compare to as my personal friends who are also my social media friends. But usually and normally, my friends are really into sharing memes, and that's what I really like about them. So whenever they share memes, I feel like it really brings it really relaxes me at some point, and it really changes my mood easily since I really laugh easily towards me because I'm a meme person and I love seeing memes all over my news, and it's just different whenever you relate to a meme as well, and then knowing that you have a friend with the same taste as you towards a meme, that's special right there. As a hobby, oftentimes I watch conspiracy theories, and there was this one conspiracy posted by who's that? Posted by Shane Dawson, wherein he was talking about how the government is conspiring with the internet by reserving our internet data in order to control or manipulate how we act towards a specific event or a specific product. So that conspiracy theory really changed my perception on how we really use our social medias. Furthermore, it was also the coverage of the documentary on how Cambridge Analytica sold millions of datas from people in US just to manipulate their approach towards Donald Trump. But in the conspiracy theory of Shane Dawson, it was mostly tackling about on how certain companies such as Google basta I was really talking about mostly on how Google ata yun, I'm not sure, basta a certain company was in partnership with Google as well, who has a connection with YouTube. So the certain company was selling products that would collect saliva DNAs, and it was sold through different YouTubers, famous YouTubers. It was targeted mostly to kids. So during that time, that product really boomed. So the main purpose of that product was to collect sample DNAs, and in the conspiracy theory, it was revealed that those product was released because in the near future, immortality is already possible, and one way in which you could use that product is through a DNA. It was said that that specific company, were using that product, or were using YouTubers to sell their product to different kids in order to store their DNA and store that DNA for them for multiple years. Kaya when I heard about that, dude, that's really effed up, right? I mean, like, it's really, like, when you think about it, it's so what do I feel when it happens to me? Well, personally, it would actually, generally, it doesn't bother me at all, since as a business student, it really has come to a point where I've understand the necessity in which companies would use people's data to know what their buying pattern is. And at some point, it's really useful, and it really does help business boost their sales. Kaya I don't think it's really bothersome for me whenever some companies sells my data in order to sell a product, because it also gives a less hassle. Like minsan, whenever an ad pops up, and that ad was there because I was searching through it in Google or in Lazada, and it suddenly appears in my Facebook. So, at that, dyan pa lang, parang you already know that there's a connection between those companies. And sometimes it really does work, because I'm really such an online shopaholic. And seeing that ad really just gives me a final decision that I'm just gonna buy it. But I guess there's a fine line between selling their data to sell their product, or invading our personal data to a point where it's already unnecessary. And that's how it should be, that's how it should be controlled. Like, there's a fine line. There should be a fine line. And that people or these companies shouldn't abuse their powers just because they have access to this information. And that they should also uphold to their ethical practices that to keep our personal data safe and secure. So, as a whole, it really doesn't bother me, since it's really necessary to get their products out there, since there's really, literally billions of users in social media, and it's really hard to pinpoint which is which to sell your product for a specific target market, since, let's face it, it's really hard to sell them, especially if there's a huge numbers of individuals who aren't interested at all in that product. So, disseminating those advertisements basing on their personal data really helps a lot for the business. So, having children. So when I think about having children in the future and living in social media, it's okay. I mean, really, I'm already in that era wherein social media is already part of my life as well. So why not let my kids have it as well? I guess it would really just depend on how I would teach, or how I would teach my children in life. Like, especially, okay, let's say I already have kids, and then I would only let them use gadget at a certain age wherein it's appropriate, because I would really also want them to have an experience in life wherein you cannot experience it in social media. Gets like playing outside, enjoying nature, enjoying what life could offer you, playing with kids, playing around, and stuff like that. Because we already know that there's a difference on how our social media life is before, but we cannot simply just deny the fact that there are really times wherein children tends to be naive in using social media and have a lot of regrettable mistakes, when they would simply just click anything, and then some shit would happen wherein they didn't mean to happen. One of these conspiracy theories also tackled about having an app by Korea that was mostly targeted to kids as well, and then this app is an app where it's an automated chat app wherein you get to talk with your favorite K-pop group and K-pop artist. So, diba, mostly mga bata lang talaga yung mga gamit doon. And guess what? It turns out that a lot of creepy pedos were hacking into that app, and then it was, they were talking with the kids, and then it was really weird because they were telling the kids creepy stuff, and I can see you, I'm outside inside your house and stuff like that. And, thinking about that, it really would encourage me to not let my kids in the future use gadgets like easily. So I guess there should be a limit on what they could use on, and I think it's really for the best if I would also keep in track on what they're doing with their devices. So hopefully nothing that effed up would happen to my kids in the future, and that hopefully our social media data would be much secured also, since there's really a big flaw in how our social media data is being compromised. And that's all on having a talk with Riri on my world in social media. I hope everyone is doing safe and doing well during the lockdown. I know it's very hard, but let's fight through this together.